We have a very exciting day for you planned. And I think when we think about what happened yesterday, we heard that we're not alone, that everybody has a story to tell. We heard that here in the big room and in the deep dives. We're all here. We have different diseases, but we're all here because we're somehow connected to rare diseases. A number of years ago, I was on a panel, the first time I was ever on a panel with Pat Furlong. And at the end of the panel, I went up to her and I apologized to her because my child did not have as bad a disease, as hers, because it's not degenerative. And what she said to me is, everything that's in your house is normal, which was just, I remember that all along. Like, it's whatever you have to live with, that's what you figure out how to live with. And just really had big meaning for me, and I appreciate that. And I think it's something that we can all remember, is that it's not, we're all different, we're all connected, and we're all dealing with things. So at the beginning of the day yesterday, we heard strategies for dealing with being a caregiver or a patient or just stress. At Global Dreams, we learned to check out our snack bag before we put our first speaker up, and she tells everyone that you shouldn't eat any junk food. So, note for next year. We had deep dives to get into the peer-to-peer coping strategies. We heard Christina Waters talk about a new rare platform that could transform how we collaborate in science. We heard an incredible panel led by Indu Sabaya from Health 2.0, Ronnie and Gilles and Julia talking about the impatience of patients. Social media is a force that is not going away, and we need to embrace how people actually talk to each other and not try and silence them or try and keep the status quo. The world has changed. But, and what that means, it means things like studies aren't really blinded, but that can be a powerful new idea if we figure out how to harness that and use it in a new way. Then more deep dives on the e-patient revolutions. And finally, a presentation by Robert Shalala around a new not-for-profit contract manufacturing operation. New ideas that can open up how we work together. And finally, Mark Kruger and Pat Furlong share their amazing work in reshaping regulatory policies with the FDA, a true collaboration that's a model for the rest of us and has the potential to get things moving faster. So today, step in, ask questions, share, learn, listen. We are all in this together, and together we can make a difference. So first, I would like to welcome, for some more opening remarks, Terry Cato, who's a Senior Director of Project Management at Walgreens.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Wendy. First, I'd like to say thank you to all of you. For me, this is my first experience at this meeting, and just by a show of hands, how many of you, is this your first experience at this meeting? Yeah. And that's what these types of meetings are about. It's all about building community. When I think about what I heard and learned yesterday, part of what really struck me is something that Julia said. And Julia said, I find myself telling my story over and over again. And my guess is that that's what each one of you do as well, and that you'll continue to do that. And from the Walgreens perspective, what I would share with you is that just as you are a community, we view ourselves as a community as well. Many of you probably know us as the corner drugstore, right? You walk into Walgreens, you walk into the front. We do occasionally sell those junk foods like the peanut M&Ms and the Doritos. We do have that. But you also have to work your way to the back and you meet your pharmacist. And one of the requests I would have of each one of you is that as you're telling your story, the memories that you have from this weekend, what you yourself are learning, what you're taking back, my request to you is share that. Share that with your healthcare team. Share that with your pharmacist. Let them understand what it's like for you and what that experience can be. My role within Walgreens is to try to build that community as well and to help the organization understand more about rare disorders. But quite truthfully, the best experience, frankly, comes from you and you sharing that information. Part of the challenge that we have as Walgreens is that, many of you have probably seen our commercials, the corner of happy and healthy. And my guess is that many of you feel like you're standing on the opposite corner. What I'd share again with you is that we believe that each one of us have a right to be happy and healthy. And that starts with you, and that starts with me, and that starts with what I take back. My role is to be an advocate and a champion. I view my role very similarly as I see you. What I would also say is that we believe that well-being can be defined in many different ways. Each one of you may define that slightly different for you and your family. And so again, I ask that you share that information. Now, part of what we do as Walgreens as well is that we're trying to build within the community. One of the things that's sort of impressed me as I've joined the organization is the spirit of advocacy and volunteerism. If you ask your pharmacists to get to know them, you need to get to know them pretty well. If you ask them, what you'll find is that many of them volunteer hours on the weekend to organizations just like this. And so they're a welcome resource for you. So I would say get to know your local pharmacist, get to know who that is, find out what you can provide to them. Often they haven't heard about what you're going through, and it's a wonderful chance for you to be able to do that. So I guess, again, my request out and the challenge for me is how do we sort of compile all of this in a way that it's translatable to those people that we're understanding back home and we're taking back home. So I guess my request to you, and what I'm challenging myself with, is that as you work your way through the conference today, ensure that you're meeting someone new. Share your story. Take that information back. Agree to stay connected. What I learned yesterday is that, quite truthfully, it's the connections that we're building that are making a difference. That as one voice, it's very difficult to have someone hear you, but as a combined total voice, the power that is within this room to impact change, like Pat shared with us, is truly remarkable. So on behalf of Walgreens, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for allowing us in, for allowing us to be a part of your lives. And frankly, I encourage you, meet me at the break, share your story. I'd love to stay connected with you and have a wonderful conference. Thank you.